That's awesome. And now, as you have kind of seen the technology over a decade and seen kind of your roles change within it, what are like one or two learnings that you've kind of taken away from all that experience? I mean, you've got the masters, you've got the hands-on experience with the machines, you've seen global companies, you've seen startups. Like, are there threads that you're excited about, or things that you're kind of the key takeaways that you've seen over the last few years?
Sure. No matter, I mentioned the first one is around education. I think we're going to see an inflection point in the additive industry towards the end of this decade. And I say that based upon my previous comment about like, hey, a decade ago, no one knew what additive was. Students didn't know what it was. Over this last decade, they all do, right? And most of them had some form of formal education around it. So if you kind of play that out towards the end of this decade, those same students that now have formal education around it are going to not only be engineers, but starting to be leaders and kind of guiding the direction of where additive goes. So I'm obviously we're all continuing to push forward, not waiting for just this new influx of engineers to happen. But I really think at that time, many engineers are going to think different about how to apply additive, and not just throw something over the wall, but think, what is the technology? Why am I using it? Right? We're all excited for additive just to be another tool in the toolbox, as many of us say, opposed to this special thing of where we're chasing headlines. So end of this decade, I think education is going to actually be a really impactful thing, and kind of we'll see a change there. The other comment I'll say is, no matter the challenge, I think we could point back to the machines as being the common thread, right? No matter how we're applying additive, the machine is doing the work. And we've come so far in the repeatability, the robustness of this equipment over the decade. Um, but there's still so much farther it needs to go for us to be truly an industrial, for additive to be industrial technology to produce parts on the same quality scale of a machining or casting, or you name the technology. So machines need to improve is the biggest thing for us to continue growing, for it to be more repeatable than it is right now, and continuing to double down on education to make sure that we're educating the engineers in the proper way. We're not chasing headlines to say additive can be things that it's not, and using it for what the technology was designed for.